The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomasz Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business, from $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters at Real Estate Marketing, Ardor SEO.
Welcome to the Icons of Real Estate podcast. I'm so excited because we definitely have an icon here today, Anthony Margules. And he's the owner of Amalfi Estates, has established a legendary reputation in the industry, founded in 1995 and headquartered in Pacific Palisades. Amalfi Estates is one of Los Angeles's leading independent real estate companies. I want to hear more about that. Its team members are dedicated to going above and beyond for their clients and community. In 2022, the Wall Street Journal, just a little publication, ranked them as one of the top 10 teams in the nation out of over 2 million agents and teams. That's quite an honor. Welcome, Anthony.
Thank you, Patty. I'm honored to be here. So thank you for taking the time.
Well, gosh, and we are so honored to have you. So we like to start the show with superstars like yourself sharing their journey, how you became an icon, but go way back to when maybe you decided to go into real estate. Tell us the little story about how you got where you are today and started this independent agency.
Sure. Well, I don't know if I'm not comfortable with the word icon. I know that's the title of your show, but our core values are based on more humility, and I don't really view ourselves as icons.
Okay.
Only in my own mind, I'm an icon. My mom thinks I'm an icon, maybe, but no. But I finally know what I'm doing after 30 years in real estate. So yeah. No, I started off. We had a real estate development company. Then I started a mortgage company about 28 years ago, and then started a residential brokerage just right around the same time as well. And we've been growing our team the last few years and really enjoying it and helping mentor our agents become pretty amazing agents. And that's the next chapter, is to pass on the knowledge and watch agents become financially successful and be able to coach and mentor them. So.
Yeah, pass it on. That's for sure. Now, it must be very helpful that you had that experience with a mortgage company, is it?
Very much so. I think it takes a different type of personality to be a mortgage broker and a lender than it does a real estate agent. I think probably 90% of real estate agents probably could not go into the mortgage business, but probably 90% of mortgage lenders could go do real estate sales. It's right brain, left brain, a lot of it.
That makes
knowing
sense.
The numbers and being more analytical. I think top agents are more DIs from the DISC assessment, more drivers, socially very outgoing. Not that mortgage brokers aren't outgoing, but
I know what you're saying.
Really knowing the numbers. So
yeah. I am interested in becoming a realtor at my advanced age, and I'm working towards getting my license. But a mortgage broker, I don't think so. You know, my father and brother were engineers, but you're right. It just is a whole nother skill set and a whole nother part of the brain.
Definitely. And I think the difference too, the best analogy, I owned a mortgage company for about 10 years, is as a mortgage broker, it's like a sports analogy. You're the defender, let's say, on the goal. And if someone shoots on the goal and you miss, you kind of get blamed. So if there's a mistake made, as a real estate agent, you're the forward and you're shooting at the goal, writing offers. And if you write 2 offers and a couple don't get accepted, it's okay. It's understood. But you finally get that one accepted and everyone's excited. So there's a lot more stress and pressure on the mortgage broker if they didn't lock in that interest rate, if maybe the loan docs weren't written properly, if the lender changed the program, something like that. So it's a really interesting dynamic of being a mortgage broker versus being a real estate agent.
And which do you like better?
So we sold our mortgage company about 15 years ago. And so we've been doing the residential brokerage since. It's a much more enjoyable. I don't think I ever got a gift from a client when I was a mortgage broker.
Oh,
And
shame
as a real
on
estate
them.
agent, we get a lot of very appreciative clients and a lot of thank
Yeah,
yous. Either
yeah.
saving the money on the buy side or giving them an amazing price when we sell their house.
That's right. We kind of forget about the mortgage broker and then the company back there working behind the scenes. That's very, very true. So you mentioned your team, and then before we started recording, you also said you're expanding and hiring. So why don't you tell me a little bit about your team? And I think it's so great that you're helping them to have the skills to become very, very successful, and also what you're looking for in your new hires.
Sure. Thank you for asking, Patty.
Sure.
So we have a team of 8 sales partners now. We're looking to hire an additional 6 sales partners. We're very, very picky. We're looking for agents that are humble, agents that are coachable, and agents that are hungry. And we also have a very unique sales model. 10% of our commission is donated to charity. And we've been very, very fortunate. Last year, our team was able to help 10,000 families, and we donated $500,000 to charity. So it's a big, important part of our company's core values and part of our motto. And like I said, we have our clients pick from one of the 6. So we're not viewed as a sales person, or as a if that has any negative connotations. We're more viewed as a community leader and giving back to the community and helping out those that are less fortunate. So that's something that's really important to our company.
Absolutely. That is a huge positive. In fact, I had taken some notes to ask you about that Give Back program, and how great that you allow the people who work with you to decide which of the charities or nonprofits they really resonate with and would like to help the most.
Yeah, we let them. It's really having ownership and letting them decide on what's important, and they really appreciate it as well. And I think that's our legacy. It's not how many homes we sell. It's not, at the end of the day, on our tombstone, are we going to say we sold 1,000 homes and 100 million and we're top 1% of this or top 1% of that? It's really making a difference in the world. And so my hope is that we can spread the message. I know a lot of other companies. I speak in a lot of podcasts, and I've spoken at National Association of Realtors about this, about having other real estate companies and other agents give 10% back to charity as well. I think it'd be an amazing. We're very, very, very fortunate. We're paid. The successful agents and are paid very, very well, and it's our way to give back to the community. So
that could make a big difference for a lot of people.
Yeah. 100%. So
absolutely. So just winding back around to these hungry, coachable, and humble team members that you work with, how do you coach them? You mentioned a system. Is there a specific system that you and your team members use?
Yeah, we do. So we're all about systems, and our coach. We have a fantastic coach at Workman Success Systems. They basically have ingrained in us anything you do more than 3 times needs to have a system behind it. So 90% of the responsibilities an agent does, pretty much an assistant can do, and mostly in a virtual assistant. So the reality is it allows you to leverage your abilities and to get systems. So anytime there's ever an issue, we create a system in place for that. We have a lot of checklists. I'm a high C on the DISC assessment, so I very much love having order and having follow-up systems and accountability too. We have some great accountability in our team, and it really helps. Our coach says accountability is love, and I think there's a lot of truth to that. If someone says they want to reach a certain goal, or they have a big why, they want to buy a house or pay off their parents' mortgage or go on a really nice vacation, and we tell them what they need to do, prospecting 2 hours a day or door knocking or going after for sale by owners. It's our job to really, help them with that accountability, Patty.
Well, that makes sense. And it's so helpful, I imagine, to work with others who are on the same page and are following the same system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very much so.
Okay. And I imagine that you have your strengths as the founder, and you mentioned some of them, that you have a background with a mortgage company, and each of your team members probably has its strength. My co-host likes to call them a superpower. What's your superpower, do you think, in this business?
Um,
With all humility.
yeah, I need to think about that. My superpower. Uh, I always like to see the positive in things. So, a lot of times people will say it's a tough business, it's a challenging business. Maybe they're tired, maybe they're burnt out, and I believe it's all about how you view things. So, a lot of times people will say, what is the biggest hurdle, or what is the biggest objection in real estate? And I don't view anything as an objection. I think everything is a challenge, and everything is a opportunity. So I think it's just how you view things. Our coach is always saying there's no such thing as a real estate emergency. If there's a real emergency, call 911. And I think we create our own
Drama.
issues. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and it's not surprising, because a lot of agents are high D's and high I's. So, they're very social. And so if the real estate escrow is going to close a few days late, or the buyer can't get financing, or the buyer loses their job, or something happens to them and their family, people get very nervous or uptight. And I think the reality is, you don't have to be. I think it's just how you view it, and you stay calm, and you counsel your clients, and help them and guide them and shepherd them. So, yeah, I think having a positive attitude.
Oh, positive attitude means everything, doesn't it? In life, in whatever field you're in, not just in real estate,
100%.
but
I can tell you have that.
I hope so. I try. If I don't, I'm going back to bed. So anyway, you have talked few times during our interview, and maybe everybody else that's listening may know about the test you're referring to. I remember back in the day, the Myers-Briggs test, but when you say high C's, high D's, high I's, I'm not familiar with this assessment.
Oh, see, I'm sorry. So that's a DISC assessment. So a lot of real estate firms use that. D
Mhm.
is a driver. It stands for like a high D. I is social. So most good agents are very high on the I. S is supportive. So that's the quality a lot of teachers have, a lot of nurses have. And then the C is analytical. And that's what maybe people that are into numbers, or engineers, or
Right.
actuaries, they like spreadsheets. So usually top agents are high D and I's
I
for
can
the
see
most part.
that because
Yeah.
they like to interact with people and very sociable. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a great, it's a 15-20 minute analysis. A lot of the hiring programs have that online.
Oh,
And
fun.
we swear by it. We think it's
Oh, do
fantastic.
you?
Yeah.
I wonder if it has anything to do with the right brain, left brain, if there's a correlation there.
I don't know.
Anyway.
It's fascinating. After you interview a lot of people, and you think some people were going to be superstars, and sometimes they are, and sometimes they're not. And then other people, you're not sure if they're going to be, and they surprise you too. So that's the fun part of our business, is who's going to be that agent that's really going to knock it out of the park.
Yeah, it's fun. Surprises are always fun.
Yeah.
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 So I know you do very well. I don't know your sales volume, but I seem to remember reading something about it's in the billions, so it's very, very high, you and your team. How much do the houses in your area sell for? I know California is very, very expensive, but what's the range of homes that you generally sell?
California can be very expensive. So we're based in Pacific Palisades. The homes are very expensive here, but 80% of our business is outside of the Palisades. So we actually cover most of the Los Angeles and a lot of the west side of Los Angeles. So the average price home in our market, we helped 181 families last year, and the average price home is about 1.5. So, but we do $300,000 properties upwards to much higher. So.
It's been a wild ride these last couple of years, hasn't it? It seemed like for a while Los Angeles was down when the pandemic first started, but it just rose right back up again, didn't it?
It has. I think people will look back, since I'm a data person, last year
Yes.
was probably will be looked back on as the best year in real estate in 30 years. And the reason is because it had, usually in one's 30-year career, you're lucky to see one metric. And last year we saw 4 metrics all set records. And those
Wow.
metrics are the highest annual appreciation in history, the lowest inventory in history, the lowest interest rates in history, and the lowest days on market in history. And so when you combine those, it really creates the perfect storm in a good way. So for example, in Los Angeles, the average annual appreciation of dollar volume of homes, which takes into account transactions and home prices, usually goes up. In most markets, this is true, anywhere from 2% to 3% annually. So in Pacific Palisades, $1 billion worth of homes sold in 2020. In 2021, 1.8 billion sold. So that was an 80% increase.
Wow.
The normal is 2%. It went up 80% in 1 year.
Yes.
And that is true in almost every single market. So
Mhm.
Patty, it's like running a 100-yard dash and you had an 83-mile-an-hour tailwind behind you and you think you're the reason you set the record. And it was the market. It was the market. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of agents, the market's gone up now for 11 straight years. A lot of agents, 50% of the agents in the market have never experienced a down market. So they think it's normal. You put a sign in front of your property and you get 15 offers. They think it's normal that properties go up 22 to 24% in a year. So I think right now it's really, really important for agents to get back to the basics. Understand last year was very, very unusual. Won't happen again in their career. And they have to, just get back to basics and prospect and do the things we need to do. So.
But you would be fun to work with because you really are, looking at the big overview of everything. And I just want to ask you, when you said it was such a great couple of years that maybe won't ever happen again in our lifetimes, what about for the new agent, though, who had a hard time getting listings and then they had to compete with all the cash buyers from the realtors who were more established? It maybe was not so easy for them. What do you think?
Yeah, last year, you're saying, the last couple of years? I mean, as a new agent, it's always going to be challenging, right? So there's 1.6 million licensed agents that are members of the National Association of Realtors and 2 million agents in the entire country. So 1 in 20 to 25 adults you meet has a real estate license. So by nature, it's a very, very competitive business.
Right.
And being 100% commission based, I think a lot of people in the first 2 years are going to have a challenge in any market. I believe the last year was probably easier for them to break in because more properties sold at a higher price point and interest rates were the lowest they'd ever been in history. So while some had a challenge, it was still easier, I think, than most years. At least that's been our experience. I don't know. I'd say 80% of agents had the best year they've ever had.
All right. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
I think it was pretty grateful and pretty appreciative of how the real estate market was.
Yeah, and Anthony, it'll be really interesting to watch how things keep moving and how things have to adapt in this marketplace.
Yeah, well, sales are down. So speaking of that, so this year in Los Angeles, sales are down 42%. The number of transactions year to date. So we're talking about in the first 100 and actually 200 days of this year, since January 1st, compared to the first 200 days of last year, the number of transactions is down 42%. Part of that was because the number of transactions was the highest it's ever been last year. And that's true in almost every market. So, and the other part is the market's cooling. So imagine 42% less home selling.
That's a lot.
That means agents have to really, really, hunker down and get their systems in place and really focus and probably work harder and smarter than they did last year.
Right. Are some people just afraid right now because they feel like the market is volatile? I know there's still a
I don't
limited
believe in being
inventory.
afraid. I think afraid is a
Oh,
negative. I think afraid is a negative word.
oh,
Um,
okay. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I think there's opportunities. I think there's amazing opportunities out there. I think
Okay.
there's uh, look, everyone is the great thing about real estate, Patty, is there's 100 ways to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
There's no two ways. So some people door knock, and some people go after probates, and some people go after estate planning attorneys, and some people door knock and go after expireds, and you name it. Maybe they buy leads from Zillow, or maybe they have a good business manager they're associated with. So there's 100 ways to be successful. Agents need to realize we're in the lead generation business. That is the business that real estate agents are in. You can be the best agent. You can know the contracts better than anyone else. You can know your local market and comparables better than anyone else. You can know how to negotiate better than anyone else. But the reality is, if you don't have any clients, you're not going to be successful. So I know agents that are incredible at lead generation. They have an incredible network. They have great follow-up. They have a great CRM. They know very, very little about real estate, but they are incredible at what they do because we're in the lead generation business.
Yeah.
And that's what separates when people understand that we're in the lead generation business. You have to have follow-up systems in place to really make sure that you don't miss out on those opportunities.
And how about you and your team? How do you get most of your leads?
It's a great question. So we're partnered with Zillow and their Flex program that caters to the top 1% of agents in the country. It's like they're Zillow Premier leads, but they're on steroids, and
Oh,
they're really, really good leads. We did approximately $100 million last year with the Zillow Flex program. Last year in total, we did close to $500 million, our team of 8 agents. So we're very, very fortunate to do that. So Zillow is a lot of it. A lot of it is just referrals. So agents, after being in the business a long time, should be working on the prospect of getting referrals from their sphere of influence, their top 50, and their database. And by if they're good at what they do and they get a lot of reviews, Patty, then they should hopefully get a lot of referrals. The goal
right.
is to get at least one referral a week from their sphere of influence.
Sure.
So we get about half our business from referrals right now.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
great. Hmm.
Yeah.
And I know you're doing so well and your team is doing well, but what
We can always do better.
you always do better. That's what I was going to ask
We
you.
can
What
always do better.
is your goal? Do you have a specific goal or is it just to do better?
So it's all charity. My big why isn't about the money. My big why is to mentor amazing sales partners to reach their financial goals. And secondly, to give as much as we can to charity to make a difference in the world. So we've been extremely blessed and extremely fortunate. In the last 6 years, we started our charitable giving. Our small team of 7 agents has given $2 million to
Wow.
charity, helping 20,000 families through our charitable initiative. So if we can give as much as we can to charity and help, we have some amazing charities like Make-A-Wish, and we have a great homeless charity, the people concerned, and Heal the Bay, which helps the environment. So we have some really, really neat charities, and if we can help more of them, that's really that's the goal every year. So.
Oh, that's beautiful. Have you
Yeah.
always been altruistic or did it come after you reached a certain point of success in your life?
No, I mean, a lot of it's, my parents are very active in charitable giving and mentoring, and I think they were great role models. So our hope is that we can mentor our younger agents and they can do the same thing.
Yeah, and I would imagine a lot of people would be attracted to your company in particular because you are doing this good work.
I hope so.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not about making the money. I mean, the reality is there's a certain point in your life, how big of a house do you need? And, how many cars do you need? And how many material items do you really need? So the reality is once you're comfortable and taken care of, I think it's our duty to give back. So.
Oh, I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. So before we go today, would you be sure and share your contact information, website, that kind of thing, so
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
can reach out to you?
Happy to. Yeah. You want me to right now?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So Amalfi Estates, it's like the Amalfi Coast in Italy, and that's so it's AMALFIESTATES.com. And if anyone has any questions about getting into real estate or breaking into the luxury market or growing a team or setting goals or vision board or business plans or anything like that, I'm happy to talk to them and share any information I can that would help them.
So that's very generous of you.
Yeah.
Very generous.
Well, happy to. People have helped me along the way, so
Yes. And
so
would
it's
you
the
like
least we
them
could do.
to email you if they have a question? Is that
Yeah,
how
my
the best
email
way?
is Anthony at Amalfi Estates, like I spelled it before. And that'd be the best way to contact me. And Patty, I really appreciate your time. You put on a fantastic program,
Oh,
Icons of Real Estate, and
thank you.
I
We'll
love
say
hearing.
icons softly since you're so modest. Icons. Thank you so very much. It
You're
was great
welcome.
having you. Take
Thanks,
care.
Patty.
Bye.
Bye.